Good day, people. Hope you guys are doing well. Ryan Hamer here. Today we're going to be talking about your credit history, length of credit history, and why does that matter? I might have alluded to this in other videos, but the reason why your credit history is extremely important is because it tells potential lenders and creditors or what have you that you're a good person, who you are, how you pay your bills, if you've ever defaulted, if you've ever been late, and how consistent you are with your obligated payments. So if you have a car payment, have you paid that bill on time every month? If you have a cell phone bill, have you paid that payment on time every month? Now they're including utility bills and stuff like that on your credit bureau report. So if you are late and stuff like that, that's going to show. I know here in Canada, Rogers has started reporting your bills. So if you got a Rogers account, that's reporting as if it's like a revolving account. So I remember back in the day, it used to be dreaded. You used to hate messing up with a cell phone bill because that thing would haunt you for like what felt like the rest of your life. And with now Rogers has a credit card, they've got home phone, they've got cable, they've got cell phones, they got all that stuff, so they can really do a number on you if you're not careful with maintaining that bill. And they're sneaky too, because what they do is they say, you know what, we're going to bundle this package for you, so all these 3 separate bills are rolled into one, and if you're late on any one of them, if you mess any of those up, then it'll greatly affect you, and it'll hit your credit bureau report as a negative derogatory item insofar as that you're late. And late payments on anything don't look good. And then eventually, if you don't pay it at all, it'll end up going to collections, and then that's a whole other can of worms that you don't want to have to deal with. Then you end up having to call me and say, how do we get out of this, right? And I'll tell you, Rogers is one of the creditors. They're one of the most sink your teeth in. They're like a dog with a bone. They want all of their monies, so they don't give you no kind of break at all, right? Especially if you're in the more recent default stage. So we know that your credit history makes upwards, upwards of like double digits of your credit bureau profile, right? So it's very important to make sure that you maintain positive credit history, as well as to make sure that you develop positive credit history. Developing positive credit history means that if you have a car and you're making monthly payments on that car, and then you come into some money via win the lottery, via an inheritance, or you get a big commission check at work or a bonus or what have you, you might be tempted to say, you know what? Oh, I don't want to have that debt anymore. Let me just run in and pay it off all at once. Problem with that is, yes, you will be eliminating that pesky bi-weekly, weekly, or monthly payment for that car. That's great, but that doesn't impress a potential lender. And I'll tell you why. If somebody wants to come borrow money from you, and they come borrow money from you, and you're thinking, okay, well, look, it's been, say after a week, they pay you back all the money they borrowed from you. Say they borrowed, like, I don't know, just throw out a number here, $1,000. After a week, they pay you back that $1,000. Yeah, you'll be happy to know that they gave you back that $1,000. But did they even use it? You kind of be wondering, like, okay, they took this money, but did they actually use it? And just because they paid you back in a week, it doesn't really give you an idea of their ability to repay the money, right? Because you don't know if they actually used it or not. So when it comes to a car payment, I'm just saying, if you come into a large sum of money and you're locked into this car payment for the next 3 years, 5 years, or 7 years, and then suddenly after 1 year, the person comes and pays back the tens of thousands of dollars, it doesn't look good on the credit bureau side because you have not established enough credit history to show that, hey, they could manage this debt. This debt was $30,000 and they paid it back within 12 months. It's not really realistic. So for example, if you have a job, your job pays you $2,000 a month, and you pay back a $30,000 debt within 24 months, obviously you're not taking your full paycheck and dropping it back into this debt. No, you're not doing that. So it doesn't really jive. And so when things don't really jive, you're not really going to get the true benefit of paying it back over as you would if you were paying it back over time, or if you paid it back in one shot all at once. Now, everyone has their reasons as to why they pay back a debt faster than normal, or faster than is outlined by the obligatory terms. But the fact of the matter is, you're not really doing yourself a service. You're doing yourself a disservice, as a matter of fact, when you pay back a debt too fast, because it doesn't show that you have the capacity to pay it back over time. It doesn't look as good as it would if you paid it over time. There's that old saying, remember the old story about the tortoise and the hare, where they're in a race and the hare is speeding through and whatnot, and then the tortoise takes its time and ends up winning the race. Well, it's kind of the same thing with credit. You want to make sure that you give yourself enough time to establish enough points and to establish enough credit history, so that should you go and you need another loan, or you need a credit card, or you need to go back to the bank for something else, you are showing them that, hey, you know what, I took this loan and I was able to pay it over X amount of time, and I didn't have any issues. I have a full-time job, and I have rent, I got mortgage, I've got whatever other bills I have to pay, but I still managed to pay this bill on time and to the end of the term. So that looks good for you. Plus, say it is, I don't know how many years, right? You're going to have that many months of positive credit history, as opposed to just say 12 months of 1 year. So make sure that you give yourself enough time, and don't be in such a rush to go pay off a debt all at once. See, a lot of times it comes down to, what is your main focus? Is your main focus to establish credit history and to show that you've got good money sense, you've got good credit sense, you got a good credit mindset, you got credit clarity, and that you know that you can move your money around and pay this here, pay this there, pay that then, and you're good over the extended period of time. Remember, great credit, it is a marathon. It is not a sprint. It is not a race. And improvements with credit don't come overnight, right? So we always say that it does take time. It took you time to gain weight. It took you time to mess up your credit. So to fix it, it's going to take you time. To establish great credit, it's going to take you time as well. And that comes with credit history. And that's why credit history is so important. That's why credit history matters, right? It makes what we say, 35%? Yeah, 35% of your credit score. And it's really, really important that you guys make sure that you're not making mistakes early. And some people, I've had some clients where they say, hey, Ryan, I don't understand. What is it that I'm doing wrong? Why isn't my number going up? Why is my score so low? And why is it that I keep getting, I keep getting denied for certain things? And then when we look at the credit bureau report, I see right away. Because they're doing things like closing credit card accounts, and because they had a fight with the credit card company, or somebody at the bank peeved them off, so they said, I'm not going to go to that bank anymore. I'm going to close all my accounts. But they're not, you closing all your accounts with that institution does not benefit you. That institution is like, okay, you're just another body. You know what I mean? So you already have a history with that institution. You've been with that institution for how many years? And because one employee pissed you off, you're going to close your account and disrupt all of that, years of goodwill? That doesn't make any sense. So don't do that. Secondly, if you have loans and debts, and that's another reason how people mess things up, right? Because they're closing accounts too early. They're closing accounts because of emotional decisions, and they are thinking that they're saving a monthly expense by closing off that account early. Now, again, it depends on what your needs are. If you need to increase your cash flow at the end of the month, there's a different way to do that, as a matter of fact. You know, you can do what we call velocity banking, and maybe I'll do another video about that later on. You know, it's where you leverage your line of credit or your credit card to pay your bills and essentially use $1 twice. So look around for my other video that I'm going to talk about velocity banking. But this one is specifically about your credit history, and I hope you've gotten some value from this video regarding why it's important to establish and maintain and create a positive credit history going forward. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Please feel free to like and share and comment. All right, have a good one. My name is Ryan Hamer, and I'm out.